Packer Nation morning, everybody. It is Friday, which is awesome. And the Packers have a big-time matchup with the Texans coming up. Finally back at Lambeau. Haven't seen Lambeau Field for a long time, so that's going to be nice. Tough defense, but an offense for Green Bay that seems to be clicking. We will see what happens. Let me know who you are, where you're coming at me from, and we will do a little Packer Nation roll call. Because, and while we're doing that, I also want to do another roll call because, Caesar's here. Mike is here already from Winnipeg. Good to see you. Brian says good morning to everybody out there, and Randy as well. Tyler says, what's up, man? What up? I am doing great. How are you doing on a Friday, folks? Brent is here. Maurice, I see, is on. I have to take a moment and ask everybody to emoji me your thoughts. How about those Minnesota Vikings last night? Taking another step back for us. I was playing Fire Fan. I saw Maurice come on. I was playing Fire Fan, the beta, with everybody, and I'm going to actually go down. We had a freaking blast. And I picked that last drive to be a touchdown, which I was really concerned about because then all Minnesota needed was a 2-point conversion to get the to get the tie, I think it was at the time, and send it into overtime. They weren't able to do it, and guess what? I mean, it's not like I cheer for Dallas. I just cheer against the Vikings from time to time. And last night was one of those nights. I know you guys enjoyed it as well. Of course, Packers still have to do their own work. We still have to get the job done. But it was a great game to watch last night, and I had a ton of fun playing Fire Fan, to be quite honest. It was a freaking blast. And frankly, part of the reason it was a blast is because I started early and I cheated a little bit, and then the game, the gods of Fire Fan took all my points away because they saw I had cheated. Again, it's a beta, so stuff like this happens. And so I dropped way down. I was out of the top 10. I finally crept my way into the top 10. And last night I picked my last drive and I drilled my last drive. I nailed it. And adding my pregame picks with who's going to win the game, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Guess who ended up at the top of the leaderboard? It's going to be mirrored, but it's me. You can see my picture there. I ended up clearing 250 points, tied for the top spot with Chad Blackburn. But I do want to thank Michael, Tim, Steven, Maurice, Emil. I can't see the 8th place player. Kurt, Kat, Jamie, Peter Vargas, James, Sean, Virginia was there. Dustin was there as well, along with my brother JR. We were having a freaking blast. I hope you had a good time. We had a little trouble after the 5th drive. I couldn't make any picks. But folks, we've got, it's one game at a time. It's one game at a time for sure for the Green Bay Packers. We're finally getting back to Lambeau, which I think this game being at Lambeau could be a difference maker. With the Lambeau crowd getting loud, Brock Osweiler back there, who I think that we can get in Osweiler's head a little bit if we can continue to get the pressure that we did against the Eagles. Now, at the same time, we know that the defense for 3 or 4 games there was just not able to get to the quarterback. And Virginia is saying Maurice did well, too. Yeah, Maurice was way ahead of me for a long time. And I was sweating it because, I was happy to get back into the top 10. And I was looking up for a while there, but I pulled it off at the end. I was so happy. I actually got my bronze jersey last night. Your point totals will give you your jersey. I got my rookie bronze last night, so I took a step up. But yeah, this Texans defense, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers plays the way Aaron Rodgers has been playing. I don't know that many defenses truly scare me. Excuse me. But this Texans defense, top 10 defense. The next 2 defenses we face in the Texans and, of course, the Seahawks, going to be top 10 defenses. So we're going to get a real test and see if this offense is for real. Good things being, in the meantime, that Christine Michael has had a lot more time to practice, and coaches think that he will probably have more play time. Part of the reason being Bryce is asking, am I doing the Packer game this weekend? Yeah, I'll do the halftime show, and I'll do a show right before the game as well, just to answer your question quickly. But the good thing on offense is with Christine Michael in the mix now and James Starks, who obviously knows all the pass protection, which I think is incredibly important. I don't think Michael is ready to go out there and protect Aaron Rodgers, especially with a little bit of a gimpy hammy. But I do think he gets some reps. And part of the reason for that is it's December at Lambeau. The coaches have made it very clear that we want to run the ball more than we've been doing. Now, obviously, we got to do what we got to do. And we have seen that this, and we knew this, we predicted this in the Eagles game. This is going to be Aaron Rodgers' game to win. And it may come to that against the Texans as well, but how much better would it be if this Packers team right now can get a traditional running game going? One that, because you know this, with the amount of passing we've been doing, part of the defensive game plan is now the spaces, the spaces start to change. They're going to be moving the DBs around a little bit, and that opens the opportunity for the inside run game. And if we can come up with an inside run game, we may very well have some success. Plus, it's a good way to keep the pressure packages down. There's no, you're guaranteed not to get a sack. But I think we need it. It starts this week. I don't expect us to have, and I don't expect Christine Michael. I may have a bold prediction involving Christine Michael today, but I'm not sure. I don't expect him to, light the Texans up. I don't expect anybody to do that. They're a top 10 defense. And Tim is saying, colder weather, you have to run the rock. And we've gotten by without being able to do that, but the time has come. It's December. This is Lambeau Field. We know the drill. It's time to run the ball. And again, that's only going to make things better for Aaron Rodgers and his reads and his, consistency that we've been seeing with Jordy Nelson, with, of course, Davante Adams, who now defensive coordinators have to think about lining up their best cornerback against Davante Adams. What an opportunity that opens then for Jordy Nelson. It's going to be very interesting. Shane says, let's win for my birthday. If your birthday is on Sunday, happy birthday in advance to you. And yes, I hope that we can bring a Packer win to you. What a great gift that would be. And Steven, I do think Michael is going to get more touches in this game. I'm a little concerned that we're just going to stick with Starks the way we have. But according to sermons, we are going to use Michael more. He's going to get more touches. He's been working very hard. He's been trying to absorb the offense as much as he can. I would expect him on your first and second downs, not on your third downs. However, they may have enough of a package where he understands the pass protection right now that he does go in, say, on a third down. But again, one of the things, and there's a lot of criticism, is there not, for James Starks this year? But one of the things we have to recognize and give thumbs up to James Starks is he has been excellent in pass protection for the most part this year. And if we didn't have him in pass protection right now, it would be a very, very tough road to hoe for the Green Bay Packers right now going into this stretch. James Starks against the Eagles did a fantastic job. One of the beauties of it is that Aaron Rodgers and James Starks have a great communication in terms of the pass protection. And you'll see Aaron Rodgers move Starks around, and Starks and he communicate very well. And that is so key for the running back in pass protection. And James Starks, you do a great job. I know that I've had my, and a lot of people don't like, we got Caesar says don't like Starks. I like Aaron Rodgers being upright. So in pass protection, I want to see Starks on the field right now because he knows this offense backwards and forwards. And I want to, on the other flip side of that, I want to see what Christine Michael can do. Because this guy, he's got some moves now. He's a little bit, it's a little bit funny. He seems a little flat-footed to me. Everybody talks about how nifty he is. I would not describe him as nifty. He's definitely got a little speed, and you get him in space, he's dangerous. But I guess when I think nifty, I'm thinking of Randall Cobb type, so maybe that's why. But that running game could be important. All right, let's see. What did I have on the thing here? Oh, yeah, it's Prediction Friday. So, guys, roll out your predictions. I'm interested to see. And then I give mine at the end, and you guys get to emoji me your response if you think I'm crazy. And let's see. Yeah, how many people, what are your predictions out there right now? It's time. It's time. It's Prediction Friday. Time for you to lay it down, and if you nail it on the noggin, then come Monday, you get to pat yourself on the back. Maurice says 38-24 pack. He's got the Packers offense breaking that 30 barrier, which seems like the sound barrier at this point. It's like we just can't seem to get there. Chad's Creed Thomas, okay, says 17-34, 34-17 Packers. Excellent. Again, breaking the 30. 35-13 says Dan. Hey, Travis, how you doing? I appreciate the, yeah, I like this shirt. This is the Special Olympics shirt. Special place in my heart. 33-17 says Peter. Corey says 35-17. 27-17 Steve. Dante 28-13. Virginia 28-24 in a close one. Caesar says Pack wins by 14. That's not a score. You got to put up a score. It's fudging it. All right. I'm missing a bunch of them, but you guys can see them. It looks like now this is what we're seeing as these roll up now. We're seeing a lot of people believing in this Packers offense, that they're either going to break that 30-point barrier, which is really and truly where this offense should be. But we haven't been seeing it. We almost did it, in the Eagles game. We're knocking on the door, and honestly, if the defense hadn't held the Eagles to 13 points, we would have scored 30 in that game at least, because we were moving the ball. We just basically ran out the clock. That's the reason, more so than anything else, was the game situation. We just ran out the clock. Corey says 28-10. Nicholas says 28-17. John says 42-21. I want to talk for a minute about my key to this game. And if you have a key to the game, you can mention it. I think I see a few rolling up already. If we can stop Miller this week, we'll dominate. I agree. I think if we can stop Miller, we put this game. If we can put this game in the hands of Brock Osweiler, I think that plays to us very, very well. That's what we're. Predictably, that's probably what we're planning to do. Number one, because stop the run is job one in every single game. However, if we do that, then I think Osweiler I think he's vulnerable. Our defense has gotten to the quarterback a little bit more with 4 sacks. I know 2 of them were late in the game against the Eagles. But if Clay Matthews can play, we're getting Randall. Hopefully we'll be healthier in this game. And we'll see what happens. And Rollins is getting healthier as well. So we will see what happens if we and Dan is making a good point. We need Ryan and Martinez back. Big question mark for this, and extremely key for me on the defense. And in particular, getting Jake Ryan back should be job one for this strength and conditioning staff. And somebody needs to wave the miracle wand over Jake Ryan. Jake, we need you. He's a tackle machine, and we need that right now. So we will be fighting, we will be kicking, we will be screaming. Here's my key to the game. It's this Packers offensive line that honestly these guys need. You got to give some love to the Packers offensive line, who has been banged up. They have undergone change from the beginning of the season with Lane Taylor, and Lane Taylor has responded. David Bakhtiari against the Eagles was as close to perfect as you can be against a good team. David Bakhtiari is playing Pro Bowl quality left tackle right now. Lane Taylor doing an excellent job at guard. We had to switch out with JC's injury. We had to switch to Corey Linsley, who is holding it down and holding the line at the center position right now as a fill-in. And we were fortunate to have Corey Linsley as a fill-in who had as much experience as he did as a starter. But how about that Jason Spriggs? He did not have a perfect game by any means, but listen to this. This guy goes in at guard. At the guard position, you want phone booth bodies. Jason Spriggs is anything but a phone book. He's like 6'6.5". He is so not a phone booth guy. And he did a very acceptable job, and I expect the guy to improve now. You just think the reps, the meaningful reps Jason Spriggs now has. And how about that Brian Bulaga, who he battled injuries every single year. He had his share already this year, but he has been playing good ball, shoring up the right side. Now, that said, this Texans defense is going to be a tougher test. Thank goodness J.J. Watt, I mean, and again, I said this yesterday, I wanted J.J. Watt to play in this game. I love watching him play because he is such a footballer. And however, truth be told, this offensive line is the beneficiary of J.J. not being on the field, to be quite honest. The guy is a handful for anybody. And so that is one thing they won't have to worry about. But there is this Texans team, a top 10 defense. There are plenty of people to worry about on the line, not only in the line, but the Texans are kind of they're not getting a lot of turnovers back there, but they play solid in the defensive backfield, and their pass rush obviously is something we're going to have to be concerned about. Bryce is saying we have to win the turnover ratio this week, and I completely agree. And that was our key to the game last week. I thought it was winning. We had to stop putting the ball on the ground, and we had to get at least that one turnover that we needed. Thank you, Clinton Dix. How about our defense? How about those two safeties back there who have been playing lights-out football all year long? Morgan Burnett, with the injuries, has had to move around. He was playing inside linebacker. This guy is doing it all. And when you have to move around, it's very difficult to play at a high level. So kudos to Clay Matthews, who did it for a year or so, year and a half at inside linebacker. Now we've got this Morgan Burnett back there who is willing and able to do a lot of different things, and very important because of the injury situation. And that again goes to, we need to get our inside linebackers back, starting with Jake Ryan, and I believe he practiced this week. Martinez, I think, is a little bit further out, but that will be key to the game as well. But I think this offensive line, the reason I say the offensive line in particular is because how are we going to get a ground game going? The ground game starts up front. If we get the ground game going, how effective is Aaron Rodgers then going to be when he is called upon to throw the ball? I mean, he's been playing lights out ball, MVP quality football at the quarterback position. And if we can get a running game going, that's only going to make it easier, only going to make it better. So I think that we will get a little bit of a running game going. I am so, my bold prediction, I was so tempted because the coaches said that they thought they'd get him in a lot more. It was more than I expected that they said. My bold prediction, I was thinking to say that Christine Michael goes out and gets 50-plus yards in this game. So I'm going to go with that. That would require him to have, either to have one explosive play that everybody goes, man, I'm so glad we got this guy, or for him to have more than a handful of carries, which I'm not sure is going to happen. But that will be my bold prediction. I might as well just go for it, and let's see this guy take off because we need a running back. Ever since Eddie Lacy left, it has been difficult back there to get a running game going. And running games are so important, especially December at Lambeau. And now, and Maurice is mentioning too, part of the need for improvement in the running game is this hamstring issue that we have to talk about for Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, and Mike McCarthy was pretty adamant about this. This is not as limiting as the calf injury was, for obvious reasons. The calf injury was a much more serious injury. The calf injury, obviously, you can't take a step without using your calf. The hamstring tends to, you can still run with it fairly decently. I don't expect Aaron Rodgers to be exceptionally limited. I get this read that the Packers are going to sort of run that line and make sure everybody knows about the hammy and expect the Texans to kind of feel like Aaron Rodgers is going to stay in the pocket and then that he's going to actually be moved around more than we expect, but we'll see. My concern with that is we do not want a re-injury, or we don't want him to make that injury worse in this game. That would be the worst thing to see. So, again, you probably will, like we did with the calf injury, see more of the pistol formation. I'll be interested to see if Christine Michael goes in that formation. So I'm sure he has a package of plays that they are confident in him with. But I would expect that to be James Starks' ball game right now. And so it depends on how often we use it. I would like to see Michael go in that 20 personnel group with Aaron Ripkowski as well. I'd be interested to see how that goes. That could be fun. Chris is saying 10 to 12 carries for Michaels. There we go. And then, my prediction hopefully comes true at that point, because if it doesn't, then we're not really getting quite enough out of him. That would be, less than that 4. You want 4 yards a carry at least out of this guy. He had 4 yards in his one carry. DM says, no torn hamstring, please. I completely agree. Man, I mean, and it is a concern because, you know, Aaron Rodgers gets out, he's going to play the game. He's going to play to win, and that's what you want out of your quarterback. But as soon as he does that, that hamstring is definitely going to be vulnerable. They'll have it taped up for a little bit of protection on that, and you can protect that with tape a little bit, but they can't do everything. So, good morning, Monica. And Sean says the Packers need to use Ripkowski more for short yardage gains, and I think he is sort of buying himself reps with the way he's been playing. So I wouldn't be surprised at all. And here's the key, guys. It's get to third and short in the first place. And that again goes to being able to if you can effectively run the ball on first down or second down, which a lot of times we have not been able to do, that gives you that much more of an opportunity to end up in that 3rd and 1. If you can't pick up the first down, you don't end up in 3rd and 6 plus. Now Ripkowski comes in. I want to see Ripkowski as a lead blocker and Kristen Michael as the tailback and see what we can get out of that combination. So we will see how that goes. All right, my prediction for this game, I think I expect our special teams to do an admirable job again. I expect our offense, I expect Aaron Rodgers to play at this highest level. My fear with our offense is that we're going to attempt to run the ball and we're not going to be able to do it. It's not going to be an easy task against the Texans. This is my fear, that if we have to stick to the run, and we need to because we have to keep defenses honest, but if we stick to it too much and we just can't get anything going, I think we will get something going. I think that we will have in that 70-yard range in rushing yards by the end of the game, which isn't a lot, but I think it will show that we're headed in the right direction. Happy birthday to Aaron, 33 years young. Nancy says happy birthday to Aaron. Happy birthday, Aaron. I hope you have a great one. The Packers going to win for you. So I think we do, and that being the case, I do think that this Packers team right now is ready to break that 30 barrier. Last week I was like, no, I don't want to. I think I maybe picked them to have 33 or 35, and every time I do, they let me down. Like so, I'm hesitant to pick them having over 30 at this point. I love the point spread. If you saw Circle the Stat, one of my favorite things about that Eagles game was the way the points were metered out over all of the quarters, with at least 3 in the third quarter. We had the field goal. We would have had more in the fourth quarter if we needed it, but I think we scored 10 in the fourth, 7-7, 3-10, or whatever it was. But I love that breakdown, and the reason I'm totally okay if the Packers don't break 30 points is if they do it in the same way they did against the Eagles with extended drives. Anytime you extend the drives and the time the clock, time of possession that the drives take, you're going to have less drives available to you, which means less opportunity to score. However, we have seen just how helpful it is when Aaron Rodgers and the Packers offense goes out and extends drives and keeps opposing offenses off the field. And I don't think the Houston Texans are quite as dangerous. Maybe it's about a 1-to-1 comparison. I don't know. But I don't think they're quite as dangerous as the Eagles right now. I know, Lamar Miller, he's a bell cow back. We've got to stop him first. But I think if we stop him first, DeAndre Hopkins, you got to pay attention to, but I think we'll have a plan in place. And if this game rides on Brock Osweiler's arm, I don't think that bodes well for the Texans right now. However, that said, what is the weakness on our defense? So I do expect the Texans to score. I've had to say this, and I said it for the Eagles game as well. And frankly, that first series, it looked like, here we go again. We will see if the defense is truly turning a corner. If Jake Ryan can play, I think that helps us a great deal. I will give the Texans. I get a couple touchdowns on the board, but I think they're only going to score 17 in this one. I'll give them 2 and a field goal. Texans with 17. I think 28-17 Packers, I'm going to say. I think that might match up with somebody else's that I saw roll across the screen. 28-17 Packers in this one. Hopefully whatever the case is, hopefully they can win. That's the most important thing. All I care about is a win. Joe says 27-10, so we're fairly close there. And Chad is concerned that our secondary will make the Texans look like Super Bowl contender, and that's been our concern too. It's like every time a team has come in and really needed a win, and this Texans team, make no mistake, they are on top of their division, but they're one game on top. They need this game. If they drop, they are then tied for first place. This is not a situation that the Texans want. They've been on a tough, I guess they got a 2-game losing streak going for them. Packers need to make it 3 because this Texans game is extremely important for us. The Minnesota Vikings fell to the Cowboys. Now that gives us an opportunity once again. This is a Packer team, does not want to be fighting for a wild card spot. The NFC North is a vulnerable division, and the Packers have to play Detroit at the end of the season. Detroit has a very difficult path ahead of them going into the playoffs or coming up to the end of the season. And if this Packers team can really get on the tracks right now, it's going to be very, very exciting come the end of the year. This is an unknown opponent. This is an uncommon opponent, as they call it. So we've got basically, I wouldn't even call the Seahawks as much of an uncommon opponent anymore. Packers have only played, this will be the 4th time that the Packers have ever played the Houston Texans. Of course, they converted from being the Oilers way back in, I don't know what it was, 98-ish, somewhere around there. But this is an uncommon opponent. We have not met Romeo Crennel as defensive coordinator for a very long time. So this could be a more difficult game than maybe it seems like on paper. But if the Packers can show something in this, it's going to give them a lot of momentum and it'll be a big confidence builder going into the game against the Seahawks, which again, if I were going to circle one game, I mean, honestly, at the end of the season, that game against the Detroit Lions seems like the one that we would have to circle at this point. But can we even get there? I think if we get there, it goes through the Seahawks. If we show something against that team, another top 10 defense, and a team that has a very good offense, I think that we will truly show that the ship has been to some extent righted, and we are ready to make that NFC North run. We really would love to be 2-0 heading into that run. I mean, can you imagine how good that would feel? And I don't think it's, if you'd asked me a couple of weeks ago, I would have really thought it was out of the question that the Packers could compete against a team like the Seahawks. I may have even had question whether our offense could get much done against the Texans, to be quite honest. But again, it's December. It's at Lambeau Field. If we can develop this running game and handle the time of possession, could bode very well for the Green Bay Packers against the Texans, and also that has that confidence carryover that we want. So, and Gary's saying mathematically we still have a chance, and oh yeah, we very much are right in it. In fact, we went through it, and even if the Packers drop a game, there's a very good possibility that with the matchups that the Detroit Lions have, we still will have a chance at the end of the year because we can tie the Lions. As long as we win that head-to-head matchup, we can tie the Lions. So we will see. And DM says, Tundra baby. Hello from Houston, says Amanda. Packers have to win. We've got a lot of friends watching the game, and they'll be Texans fans. Amanda, we are going to do everything we can to bring home a win. So anybody going to the game, if you're going to the game, it's time to get loud, have a lot of fun, enjoy yourself, and hopefully enjoy a big Packer win. Well, that, I think, is going to do it for me today. It didn't go as deep as I really kind of wanted to, but my bold prediction is Christian Michael gets in there and breaks the 50-yard mark. My prediction for the Packers, 28-17 with a win at Lambeau. Would love to see that. Obviously, I'd like to see us score more, but again, I think part of what we're trying to do now, we're understanding how important it is to play a bit of a possession game and to keep opposing offenses off the field, protect our defense, not only in time of possession, but also making sure they have rest in between. We've seen when this offense stalls, the defense struggles because they're constantly on the field. So, and Gary says, Packer fans always show up in force. I agree. We're the best fans ever. Can I get a heart for Packer fans being the freaking best fans in the NFL? No one can compare. No one can compare. Let's pat ourselves on the back, guys. We're awesome. All right. And MJ says, can't wait for the Fire Fan game or Sunday. I mean, the Packers game. That's right. We are playing Fire Fan. It is in beta. It's not perfect. So they're throwing you some free tokens when you sign up. The promo code is Get the Ring, because when I set up my league, which will be after the beta, we're just testing it now. We're just playing. We're just having fun. But I tell you what, when that game got done last night, I knew I had a chance with my pregame picks and my final series pick to jump up the leaderboard. And I was refreshing that screen. They didn't update it for a long time. And I was just sitting there refreshing my screen. Finally, I refreshed it and I jumped to #1. I was so pumped. And it was so freaking late at night. But yeah, Fire Fan we're really having a good time, but you don't have to worry anything about standings right now. I tell you what, our leaderboard is hot right now. We've got some great players already out there that are figuring things out. I tried to cheat. I said at the beginning of the show, I tried to cheat, and the gods of Fire Fan took my points away for cheating. I did it one time because there's little hiccups in the game that they're finding. And I think Maurice found that one first. So I cheated, and then the gods of Fire Fan took it away. However, that put me out of the top 10, and I had to hit the top 10. Peter says, almost had you. I know, man. Did you get? I read your name out at the beginning because I read the Fire Fan roll call. Our leaderboard was smoking hot, man. It was moving around. Obviously, part of that was they were adjusting the score because they knew some of us were up to something. But it was freaking fun. So if you haven't joined already, you can still get you basically can get free. They'll throw you a few tokens. Just go to your respective app store, look up FireFan. It will be probably #1. It's #1, I believe, in both of them now, at least on mine. I don't know if they factor social media usage into that. So Tim is coming. And I tell you what, man, so many people that I recognize from the show were like nipping at my heels in this game. I felt like I had my life riding on this game, and to finally pull it off was so happy because I picked 2 turnovers in this game, which are worth 35 apiece, and they took both of them away. Well, actually, one of them, I guess it was because of the way the turnover came about, was on the punt or something. So, yeah, MJ was right there. Everybody was in it. It's good to see Virginia in there. There's too many, Jamie. There's too many to mention. Having a lot of fun. So, yeah. And one thing I forgot to mention about the Packers team is, anybody out there happy that we signed Callahan again? I think I'm happy for the guy, but I think it kind of scares me for what the Packers are thinking about the health of Aaron Rodgers. I'm a little bit afraid. Chris is here. Hey, buddy. Chris out in the UK. Man, good to see you. Yes, he said, I am a marked man. But we are having a ton of fun. And frankly, it was so fun that had I gotten knocked out of the top 10, and the fact of the matter is, everybody that's playing is already getting pretty good. And I think Virginia says it was fun. And I think this may have been like your first game. It takes a little while to figure out how it works. Once you do, the fact that this is going to be the Facebook of sports, it really, guess what, guys? NBA is slated to come out already in January and February. So I probably can't do that here, but I'm going to find a way because I can't wait to play basketball with this thing. It's going to be a blast. All right. Okay, guys. Well, I hope you are having a great Friday. I hope you have a safe, happy, and enjoyable weekend. I appreciate every single one of you jumping in. The league name, John, is... The name of the game is Fire Fan. The league name, it's just a temporary league so you don't have to worry about where you are. We're not playing for the ring just yet. I want to set up a full one. But the league name is Packer Domination, all one word. If you just go and you can search me out in probably the contacts section, and once you find me, I think it will pop up my league. You should see the GPN logo straight from the Facebook page or the website, greenbaypackernation.com. All right? Well, guys, have a great weekend. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday, and hopefully we can all come back Monday celebrating a big Packer win. I will see you Sunday, just before game time, I believe, and we'll talk again then. Have a good day.